Hello everyone, welcome to the tutorial. So today we'll see how to actually create a DevSecOps pipeline with all the security checks, and we'll be using GitHub workflows for the same, and we'll be creating a pipeline using that. So this is the actual pipeline which will be the final result or the end game of our YAML file or the pipeline whatever we write. So we'll be having like these 4 jobs, or you can say phases. So in GitHub they call it as jobs. So first is like checkout which will be used for checking out the source code from the version control tool, that is GitHub in our case, and then we will build the code, compile and create a package. Finally, we will do all the scans like the container scan, dash, SAS, SCA, whatever we have, whatever are the tools which we have used earlier for scanning. Just there will be a change as for SAST we were using the commercial tool called 45. So I have got one more open source tool called checkmarks, which is part of this tutorial or part of this video. So you can just go ahead and try the SAS independently if you want with checkmarks. However, you can also learn from here whatever I'll be doing with the pipeline. Then is the final phase. We will be deploying the source code. So now this deployment is again a dummy part where I've just printed some versions of the software being used. Okay, so let's get started. So for this, like this is the if you want to see the pipeline or get the code, you can just go to this GitHub link, which is for our case, and the actions part will show you the pipeline and it runs. And few things to assume here with the tutorial is like this is just a dummy sample pipeline, whereas in the real world, in your application or organization, the pipeline may be quite complex according to your application or according to the tools you use. Now also there are some stages and jobs which may be just a kind of placeholder for the demo purpose, but in your real case it may vary. There you may have some other commands or some other way of doing the CICD. Then for the CICD YAML pipelines, beginners. So if you are a beginner, it may seem a little bit complex because there are various steps in the pipeline and we are filing some commands in Linux if you are not aware of the Linux. So this may be quite overwhelming for you, but if you just go through the lectures 2 or 3 times, or just try to understand what the command does with my video, maybe it will helpful and you can understand it. So the concept here is to just grasp whatever you can, like the concepts which we are applying, and apply in your real world case or just close to your real world case or application or organization. So you just need to understand the concepts and grasp it, and later once you get the chance in your organization, you can just try to implement it. So without any delay, let's get started. So I have my code here. This is like the pycharm, which is the IDE I'm using. So here today I'll just start with a little bit demo, or like how the pipeline will look. So we'll just name it. So then this will be the name of the pipelines. So I'll just give some streamlined DevSecOps pipeline. And then like we will define like what or when the pipeline should run on what kind of event. So I'll just start with on event, and it should be push. So whenever we push to our source code, and particularly the branch, so you need to mention the branches here, and I'll mention it as DevSecOps dash pipeline, which is the branch which we have created in the version control tool or GitHub. Now again, we can mention various other branches to push, but we'll just go with this one for now. And then we will define the jobs here. So jobs here in GitHub are used for doing various kind of activities, which may be compared to stages in Jenkins. If you know about Jenkins. So each job here will do a purpose, that is finish a task for us or run a task for us. So first is like we will check out the source code. So I've just named as checkout, and then we have to give a keyword called runs on. So this is like kind of agent or runner where your code will be running. So we are using Ubuntu image or the Ubuntu machine to run that. So we are just picking that. So if you're not aware of these parts, you can just go through the previous tutorial where I mentioned like the basic CICD, YAML pipeline, and what are run, checkout, and other things. So we'll just skip those parts for now. and then I'll define the steps. So steps here, maybe I'll just name it checkout source code, and here we'll run the shell scripts. So I'll just echo it like checkout of code is done. So this is the first job which we have defined. Similarly, we will divide our whole CI/CD pipeline into various other jobs. So maybe the next one I'll just name it build. So in the build, again we will define like runs on again Ubuntu latest. So these all runs on can be on different things. So suppose you have some pipeline which needs Ubuntu machine to run, or some may need Windows machine or Mac to run. So you can run all the jobs on that sorts of agents or runner. Then we will define the other thing which is needs. So needs, what it does is like before it start this job, it needs to complete this job. So suppose this job is dependent on this one, so build is dependent on checkout, so we need to use needs, and in the needs we need to define that job. So this is the basic requirement for this job to run. So this is also done. Again we go to the steps part. Now here I will name it again as build, and again we'll say like users. So users is basically used for like many places. Like suppose you have to download some artifact which you have used in some other section. So in that case you can use that. So maybe let's skip for now. I'll just run a simple use case later. So we'll just go with simple command which is run echo, and we will say just code build is done. Okay, so now again we have the SAST scan. So we will just name the job as SAST, and then maybe we define the runs on again, and it needs Ubuntu latest. So I just copy paste from here. And now needs for this needs for this SAST is like it should complete both the build and the checkout job. So I've just mentioned it here like this. You can mention it. Then you need to define the steps. So maybe I just use the steps for. So maybe I just define the steps here. So the name is a CA security test, and then we can give like again the run command. Run SAST. Actually it is not SCA, it should be SAST here. I will be running the SCA later, maybe in parallel, but let's replace that with SAST now. Run SAST security check. Okay, cool. So we'll go again once more, copy the same full code, and we'll go and just replace the SAST with SCA. So in the SCA actually we will need one more thing, which is the token. So the token actually will be coming from our environment in the GitHub pipeline. We'll be storing the secret there, or the token as a secret there. So for now, let's just define the env, which will define the environment, and we will give snyk underscore token, and the value will be coming from our pipeline settings. So I'll just show that. So here it will be like, because you will be storing it as secret, so it will be secret, the keyword is secret, and the name of the token is snake token. So let me show you again from the GitHub. So let's go to our GitHub. If I go to setting here, then we go to secrets and variables. So secret is the place where we will be storing our environment variables. So we can see this is the repository secret I have used. If you want to have environment specific secrets, you can store here. So for now I'm just going with secret repository, and for new just you can just create by clicking here. So if you go edit here, you can give the value here and you update the secret. So once you do that, so it will be available to the pipeline, and in the pipeline in the environment section you just need to define the secret, or call the secrets exactly secrets dot whatever the name you have given. So here we have given snake token, so it is snake token. Okay, SAST is done. This is done. Let's do the container part now. So I'll just mention the container scan here. Again, it should be run on Ubuntu latest. Checkout build is the dependency. For the job steps, we'll just modify container security check, container security check. Okay, so the basic layout is almost done. We'll just copy two more times. One is for dash and the other is for deploy. Okay, so finally let's go to deploy section, and here depends on and all is okay. So we just add more here, because the deploy section should be once all the stages are completed or all the jobs are completed. So it will be dependent on container scan, SCA, SAST, DAST. Steps is like name should be deploying deploy, application deployment maybe. And in the run again, we'll just give them the message like deployment completed, and I'll just use simple commands to run that. You can use the deployment, actual deployment command you use. Okay, cool. So this will just display what kind of pipeline we want, and later we'll be filling it with the proper security checks and all the other commands later. Okay, so let me commit the changes to the branches. So I'll just use git add commit my simple pipeline, then to git push. Okay, so if we go here to the actions, now we go to my simple pipeline. Now we can see, I mean, the whole thing is created like the simple pipeline which we wanted. So this is the skeleton, or we can say the architecture of our whole pipeline, which are just printing the echo statements. And we can see these all four security jobs are dependent on dependent on the previous build and checkout. Build is dependent on checkout, and again deploy is dependent on all these jobs. So this is how the simple pipeline is. Now let's get deep dive into this.